Interesting recommendations. Would you like to see them?
Yes.
I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved a demon.
Listen, as a demon, I see no problem with this one. Do you see that? Still has a lot of human features, yes?
The billionaire orc. Moth manager. Wolves and whipped cream. The wolf in my tavern. Pounded by produce.
What? I don't think there's anything wrong with you reading this. If you want to read it, fine. But why are you calling it real literature? Hi YouTube, welcome back in hell. My name is Cypress and today we'll be taking a look at a shoe on hat video. This is Female Gooners Must Be Stopped.
Oh, I didn't see you there. What am I reading, you ask? Well, just one of the best-selling books on Amazon right now. With millions of sales and almost 20,000 5-star reviews, this book has been absolutely blowing up, especially on TikTok, or Book Talk, as the kids call it. Thousands and thousands of women, in particular, have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask?
Yeah.
Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course.
Morning what?
Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course.
Morning Glory Milking Farm.
A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
That's right. The Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. I did not disappoint.
If this book is trash, then I am a f***ing raccoon. Give me all of the garbage.
Get your eyeballs on this because it is so good.
I regret to inform you that there is a new epidemic. An epidemic that many have yet to discuss. And that epidemic is female gooners.
I'm reading what I read.
Smut.
Now, for those of you unaware, gooner is internet slang for someone addicted to porn. And smut is slang for dark romance novels, otherwise known as porn. Many correct about the dangers of porn addiction with men, how it can destroy their lives and their relationships, and most men know the material they consume is weird. That is why they are ashamed of it. That is why they delete their browser history. That is why they go incognito mode. But these bitches freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. They go to smut conventions and get choked out by 9-foot-tall shirtless wendigos. Now, I know what you were thinking.
No, I'm kidding.
Shoo, isn't this the pot calling the kettle degenerate? Yes. Yes, it is. But have you considered it takes one to truly know one? You see, women are strange, fascinating creatures. For centuries, men have tried to figure us out. Our mood is affected by the tides and the moon. We bleed for 5 days and don't die. By painting my face, I can instantly shapeshift from a 4 to a 6. We are truly mysterious, magical creatures. But one of the most mysterious aspects of women to men is our sexuality. You see, us women are not like those disgusting moids. No, we are sophisticated.
Very
we are
sophisticated.
evolved. We don't watch
Very
videos of
much so.
strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. No, we read about strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together.
Yes.
It's different, okay? You don't understand.
You don't.
It's okay when we do it. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the rapidly growing popularity of dark romance on TikTok and the recent dark romance convention that ended in disaster.
Oh my
Let's take a
God.
break from all this depressing political news and talk about something silly. Not that those political things aren't important, trust me, they are. You should be keeping up with politics and the news when you can. I know it can be difficult to do, but fear not. I have an app for that. So before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to our sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers an easy way to read news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political bias that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features on Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the political aisle and ignored by the other. For example, here's a story about how Gavin Newsom is signing a bill to give 800,000 Uber and Lyft drivers in California the right to unionize. Pretty cool. Rare Newsom W. 12 news sources covered this, 7 were left-wing and 0 were right-wing, because the right is covering a far more important topic. Harvard hires drag performer Lahore
Lahore, what?
as a visiting professor.
That's a very interesting
21 news
name.
sources covered this, 20 were right-wing, 1 was left-wing. A country divided, truly. Ground News also makes it very easy to compare headlines, so you could see how political bias completely reframes a story. For example, talking about how Trump has been posting a bunch of those sombrero memes, and the New York Post says, White House official behind Trump's hilarious meme war on Dems revealed. And then a left-wing outlet covers the same story, like, as the shutdown continues, a checked-out Trump posts childish memes. Wildly different vibes going on here. I have been using Ground News since 2021. It is one of my favorite apps. Like, it is my go-to, like, when I wake up. I, like, check Twitter, and then I check Ground News, like, immediately. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. And it's only $5 a month, which is like basically the price of a coffee nowadays. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code here on screen, or use the link in the video description. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? So let's get back to the video. Book Talk is a very interesting place, and any book fans out there know how it has absolutely destroyed the hobby of literature and just flooded it with absolute slop.
Like, I'm not on Book Talk. Sometimes when I scroll TikTok, I just randomly see people complaining about Book Talk, and all the books that they suggest are like fucking shit. That's all I know.
You see, books on TikTok are not rated by how well they are written or how good the characters are. No, they are rated by the spice. And what does spice mean? Porn. It means porn. Spice level is very important to book talkers. How much spice does a book have? What are the spiciest books they have ever read?
Wait, is it entire Book Talk, not just like a subgroup of Book Talk?
Spicy is the book they're currently reading. Spice, spice, spice. And the spiciest book going viral on Book Talk lately is none other than Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Oh my god!
Overeducated?
She's just like me! On the verge of moving into her parents' basement. A lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in the neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef. With the manly, meaty endowments to... Okay.
I want to read more. The what? With the manly, meaty endowments to match milking minotaurs. Is it something Violet ever considered as a career option, but she's determined to okay, I know why she threw it away.
Morning Glory Milking Farm is actually a profound critique of late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity.
But why are we milking minotaurs? No. Listen, I have nothing against smut. I am just... Why is the farm? And why are the minotaurs and what?
In this text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of a Marxist revolution.
I think she's overthinking it. What?
This is every fucking BreadTube video to me, dude. This is every Jack Saint video. So I actually read the book myself, and
is it good?
I'm not gonna lie. The 19th Amendment needs to be abolished. So, like I said, the story is basically this millennial named Violet, and she gets a job basically working at Big Pharma in Narnia, where they harvest minotaur milk to make Viagra for human males.
Oh. It was already weird, but it's now weirder.
I read the whole thing. Probably gonna be put on some kind of watch list. But listen, this is my job, okay? I'm not out here like selling feet pics or something. What I do is far more dignified and normal. Now let's take a look at some of these notes I wrote. Let's see. Big dick and balls. At one point she says the term, and I quote,
I'm scared. I'm really scared.
The seam of his sack. So I'm reading this and the whole time I'm thinking like, okay, he probably has like a human head, right? He probably like looks something like this, like, you know, just a dude with like horns. Then I see the official artwork.
I want to say, like, if I look at the cover, it's like literally just a beast.
That's a cow.
Yeah.
Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight up cow. In a few parts they're being intimate and it will be like, his hooves clip-clopped. My hooves will tear up your sheets.
I don't know, he looks too much animal than human, and that makes it really weird. Like, there are hoofs, and he looks like a cow in the face. So what's human about it?
And it's like, I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she describes kissing him. And I swear to God, it was more disgusting than anything else described in this book. She's like describing how big and wide his mouth is and how big and like slimy his tongue is. She's like describing this shit and you're just like, that's a cow. I mean, we are at a solid 5 point.
That is what I mean. This is what I mean. This is exactly what I meant. That thing looks more like an animal. Like it is an animal from what I see on the cover art. And that makes it really weird.
5 on the Barbeau scale here. She also f***ers his ass. She f***ers the cow's ass. By the way, if you want an uncensored version of this video and all my videos, Patreon. Go to Patreon, become a member. All members get the uncensored version of every video, so you can hear me talking about f***ing and f***ing and f***ing a cow's ass.
Yeah.
Is that what
Go
you freaks want?
subscribe right
Anyway,
now.
I like how in this fantasy world, student loans still exist. Like, we can imagine a world with minotaurs and humans.
Yeah, I was like very confused. I was like, wait, the millennial? But we're milking minotaurs. It's in the modern world?
In a relationship, but we can't imagine a world without student loans. Sad. Oh, and he has one of those bull rings, like the nose ring theory septum rings. And in this world, that means like you're married, but apparently he's divorced. The man is divorced. This is a divorced cow with a cow ex-wife.
Okay,
the
divorced
lore
cow.
is deep, folks. The funniest part, though, has to be when they go on a date. I need to just read this to you. When the bill arrived, she attempted to pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet before he stopped her. No, that's absolutely not happening. Put that away. She'd not thought about it until the day after their first dinner together, realizing that in mortification that she ought to have attempted to pay her half. What kind of feminist are you? She asked herself. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been out and hadn't paid for her half, including her coffee date with Carson Tinsley. She had come prepared that night, several weeks of her tips smoothed and tucked into her wristlet. But I didn't even offer to pay half the other night and shouldn't have.
I was like, I've read enough. This book sounds really like shit. How can you read this?
Violet. If the commanding rumble of his voice hadn't silenced her, the heat of his hand dropped.
I'm like really cringing hearing this.
To her knee would have. I don't want you to feel that you don't have any agency here. I might be the one giving all the orders, but you hold all the cards. Your comfort is the only thing that counts right now. And if I overstep, I want you to know you can tell me so. But that's not happening. Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our careers. You can say no, you can say you don't want to see me again, you can tell me to stop coming to the farm when you're working. It's dinner, not a down payment of your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story.
Okay.
She was a good feminist, she told herself.
Good feminist.
And she definitely couldn't be bought. But if he had suggested at that moment that he would have appreciated a blowjob, she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a shred of hesitation.
How did we go from everything above there to the last sentence?
Inside every woman, there are two wolves. Or two bowls. The strong, independent girl boss and the submissive, doting housewife. And in the presence of a masculine man, or a farm animal, she will fold like a lawn chair and—
Who was this even? Was this the Minotaur? Like, I'm confused if it was the cow or if it was someone else that she was talking to.
instantly return to factory settings.
It's dinner, not a down payment for your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. I said, okay, I highlighted that paragraph for myself.
Clean up, aisle 5. So that's what I thought of it. But what did other people think of it? What are the reviews on this book? This book has a 4.1 on Amazon with 21,000 ratings and a 3.6 on Goodreads with nearly 60,000 ratings. Let's just read.
I'm honestly flabbergasted. I'm gonna lie. I always think I have a really bad taste. Yes, I always think I have a really bad taste. But when I see this stuff, I feel like, okay, maybe I'm not that bad.
Some random ones here. Hear me out. Hear me out. A milking.
I don't want to hear you out over this.
Time. Sweet and creamy.
Oh my God.
The spice is spicing. I was very leery of starting this because I thought it was just going to be porn. The plot is pretty good.
It looked like porn.
Please. This is like the new, I read Playboy for the articles, like, sure you do. This book could kill a Victorian child. 5 stars. I'll never look at a jug of milk the same. I think I'm lactose intolerant now. So that happened. Our eyes will never see the gates of heaven. 1 star. Not a helpful guide. This book failed to teach me how to milk a cow, and now my family has no food for the winter. 1 star. Accidentally ordered while on pain medication after an operation. Gave this to my mom as a joke gift for Christmas. You what? Sigh. Why can't human males be more like this? Tall, rich, and handsome are no longer enough, boys. Now you have to be a 9-foot-tall creature from Greek mythology with a 13-inch dick. I never want to hear from another person about how they read 100 books in a year if this is the kind of slop they are consuming. Well, Ronald, man detected, this isn't for you. This is for women. So take your ass back to Barely Legal Babysitter 5 or whatever the f*** you watch that is so morally superior than this. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone, okay? God bless America. It's great to live in a country where I can casually enjoy cozy erotica about a young woman who milks her way to financial security and true love with a minotaur. This is what freedom looks like.
A young woman who milks her way to financial security. I completely forgot she was doing this because she has a debt. That is crazy.
I intend to fully enjoy it before the Supreme Court takes this right away next. If this is what freedom looks like, I'm really rethinking my stance on freedom, not gonna lie.
You know, my thing is like, yeah, you can read that. If you enjoy that, that's your thing. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand that. I don't.
Maybe we should have less of it. All I know is if Donald Trump takes the monster porn, we are going to make 2020 look like a picnic, okay? Bullcock matters. Oh my god. Edit that out. Editor, edit that out. Women are going to be picking up Animal Farm now, like, where's the horse cock? Some of you people owe a certain streamer an apology because this book has way too many 5 stars. Some of you are lying. So after buying this book, Amazon has given me a few interesting recommendations. Would you like to see them?
Yes.
I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved a demon.
Listen, as a demon, I see no problem with this one. Do you see that? Still has a lot of human features. Yes. Yes.
Gentling the beast. Cupcakes for my orc enemy, mane of my existence. The gargoyle and the spinster. The widow and the orc.
Listen, these are just people that are into monster category, okay?
Hoarded by the dragon. There's something about dragons. Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gator. Mated to the mountain bear. Oh, so this is why they chose the bear. The billionaire orc. Moth manager. Wolves and whipped cream. The wolf in my tavern. Pounded by produce.
What?
Are these the books the Nazis burned?
My husband only reads finance and sci-fi books, and so I think it's about time that I introduce him to some real literature. So the first book that I would like to introduce you to is called Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with you reading this. If you want to read it, fine. But why are you calling it real literature?
And it's not a normal milking farm like with cows. What it is it's big, bulky minotaurs, and it's a special type of milking.
See, honey, she's his stepsister, and she got stuck in the washing machine again. Women on TikTok are openly, proudly talking about the porn they consume and getting mad at people when they make fun of it. I hereby ban men from reacting to Romantasy on TikTok. Best-selling Romantasy books like A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Fourth Wing contain descriptions of hot sex. I feel like that's common knowledge, if not their primary purposes. But in recent months, book talk has become full of men clutching their pearls while reacting to steamy scenes from these popular female-centered books. Obviously, this is all a massive performance. We live in the age of OnlyFans. The odds are that these men have seen actual porn that defies the laws of physics and God. Over 90% of men between the ages 16 and 73 watch porn in any random month. There's statistically no way all of these guys are shocked by the sex itself. What they are gawking at is sex from the perspective of female desire, scenes that depict women coming first and frequently. And what they are surprised by is the women they know love these scenes. In one video, a guy declares, "Now I know why women enjoy book clubs and wine," but his astonishment in itself is astonishing. Like, what do you think adult women were into? Not having sex and drinking wine? Grow up.
Can I really blame him though? It's not like women talk about this a lot though. Like, yes, there are some women that are more openly talking about this kind of stuff, but a lot are not. So, like, why are we confused about that? There are a lot of women that are, like, more, how do you say that? More quiet about this stuff, but they're actually into it.
Imagine a group of men sitting around drinking wine, discussing the porn they watch. That is what you guys are essentially doing. It's just funny, okay? Like, it's funny. Are we really going to pretend that a story about a young woman getting a job milking mythical creatures to pay off her student debt is not funny?
It is funny. It is funny.
If that makes me a sexist or misogynist, you got me. To act like you are so different and above the other Gooners is just, it's silly.
I have no problem with it that they're reading it. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I also read smut stuff. I just don't read like morning milking farm things with cows and... And I talk about it with my friends. But the thing is, if you talk about it in public, you should also be prepared to get made fun of it, right? Like, you cannot expect everyone to be like, ooh, good. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, but you are no different than Joe Schmo jorking it to fat booty Latinas in Space 12. You're sitting there all high and mighty, one hand on the book, acting like you're so superior because you can perfectly envision a horse cock spinning 360 degrees in your mind. I'm not impressed. The scenes these men are reading, to many people, myself included, are insanely sexy, but purely in terms of the acts being described, they aren't all that lurid. And as many of the comments on these videos point out, there's much wilder stuff out there. For example, these men have clearly not yet discovered nodding,
What the fuck
a popular
is nodding?
term in Romantasy right now that involves werewolves whose penises get so swollen after sex they have to stay inside their partners until the swelling subsides.
What?
Oh, honey, that's not a popular trend in Romantasy.
What?
That's just a thing real dogs do. Oh, you just don't get it. You don't know
they
what
do?
nodding
I didn't know.
What are these women reading, bro?
Oh
What happened to
my
that, like,
God.
stupid fucking corny Hallmark thing, going home for Christmas to your hometown?
Why is it so similar to the actual animal? Why is it something that happens with the actual animals, and why are they fantasizing that? That actually makes me scared.
And falling in love with the cute farmer boy. What happened to that? We used to make fun of that. We truly did not know what we had until it was gone. Now women out here fantasizing about getting their asses clapped by demons and werewolves and goblins
Hey,
and
there's
ghouls.
nothing wrong with a
I remember
demon.
when 50 Shades of Grey came out and people were like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Women are crazy. 50 Shades of Grey looks like missionary sex through a bedsheet for the sole purpose of procreation compared to the shit the average woman on TikTok is reading. At least Christian Grey was a human man and not a fucking dog. You fantasize about dating the quiet, shy, nerdy girl. You know, she's innocent, she's pure, she's not like those other girls, like going out clubbing and hooking up with random men. No, she's at home, curled up by the fire in a blanket, reading a book, except that book is about f***ing a half man, half bull. Let me let you in on a little secret. The quiet, nerdy girl, way more of a freak than the average hoe. Are you kidding me? It's not even close. The average hoe might have a body count of like 15 or so, but the quiet, nerdy girl is fantasizing about getting back shots from Cthulhu. That is at least 100 bodies. Now listen, there's nothing inherently wrong with fantasizing, okay? There's nothing wrong with role play. You know, fiction is fiction, right? You know, you're not actually going
Fiction is fiction.
to bang your stepsister, right? These women are not actually going to bang a cow. Or at least I hope not. We all know there is a difference between fantasy and reality. Well, what happens when they try to bring fantasy into reality?
Wait, are we talking about this book fantasy, or like specifically the Morning Glory milking farm shit? Because that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. Or the werewolves with the nothing. That's weird.
Well, you get Sinners and Stardust.
Do you want your biggest dreams to become reality? Oh, she was talking about that convention, I forgot. Sinners Sinners and Stardust. Ah! It's Pyramid Head. But that Pyramid Head had abs, okay? The Pyramid Head in the game also has abs.
What in the eyes wide shut is going on here? Sinners and Stardust was...
No, but to be fair, this is different though. This is different. These are obviously people wearing a mask and they actually have like a really attractive body. Like, we're not gonna lie. Like, come on, that's an attractive body.
Sinners and Stardust was supposed to be a dark romance ball for
Oh, it's a ball.
to see authors and fans alike. So what's the big deal? Seems like a fun, sexy time, right?
It's not.
Maybe, if you're a woman. If you're a man, the night may have gone a little differently for you.
Oh, no.
Alright,
What
y'all, it
happened?
appears I have to make a post that I'm frankly pretty goddamn upset I have to make. This post is for the readers who don't understand consent and boundaries.
Oh my
A lot of you
fucking
may know my
God.
good friend Animus. He's attended a signing of mine in the past and obviously is a musical artist. This past weekend, he attended Sinners and Stardust and probably had one of the most heartbreaking experiences. So listen, he's a man, right? But do we think that means it's okay to put your hands all over him without consent?
my
or to put your hands
God.
in his waistband or down his
disgusting.
pants or touch his dick? Hello? Do we think it's okay?
That is fucking crazy. Sadly, and I'm like really disappointed, but I am not surprised that this happened. That's disgusting.
to quite literally back him into a corner and touch all over him to the point that he literally cannot tell how many hands are on him and whose are whose? Do we think it's okay to send him into an actual panic attack because of this? Furthermore, do we think it's okay to interrogate him and insist he detail how he'd kidnap a woman,
fuck?
despite him repeatedly saying he wouldn't do that and that shit is fiction, and then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away? And if that wasn't enough, during the time of this mob, him and another author received notification that an air tag was tracking him, which showed on his person
These
all
people
the
are
way to the
fucking
hotel
crazy.
room.
Look
They
them up.
molested this guy until he
Yeah.
passed out.
Jesus, I hope he's okay. No, that is fucking traumatizing. These women are disgusting. At first it was like hee hee hoo hoo ha ha funny. Now it's not.
Put a f***ing tracker on him in order to stalk him back to his hotel. This poor guy dressed like a character in one of the Romantasy books at this Romantasy convention full of women. That is like throwing roast beef into a pit of wolves. Or in this case, throwing a wolf into a pit of roast beef. I remember years ago, there was this thing called cosplay is not consent. Basically, it was a campaign to bring
That's the same thing that's happening here.
attention to the fact that people at conventions would often come up to women dressed in sexy costumes and just grope and grab them without their consent. Yeah, apparently we have to bring that back because these women did not get the memo. I've been a furry
Yep.
for over a decade and attended a lot of fur cons. Sure, sometimes weird shit happens, but honestly, I can't believe the dark romance crowd is out here acting like this. Like, me and my buddies in our fursuits are more respecting of consent and bodily autonomy. Get your shit together, y'all. When the furries are calling you out for being freaks, you need to reflect. Something has gone horribly wrong. Not only were the men at this book talk convention assaulted, but women were also assaulted by women. Multiple women,
my
including a
fucking
performer,
Lord.
reported being assaulted there as well. Even an author there said she was groped and
animals.
dragged away from her friends and said no matter how many times she said no, quote, "My words did nothing." May I remind you, this is a book convention, okay? For books. Literal BDSM clubs are more respectful than this. There needs to be more studies on how this stuff affects women's brains, because clearly some are unable to tell the difference between fantasy and reality.
That's exactly what's happening here. They don't know what's reality and what is fiction anymore.
Human Sexuality actually wrote about this for EV Magazine. I don't know what a doctoral candidate in human sexuality is, but she's hot, so I trust her. Your brain on orgasms isn't neutral. Dopamine release during climax is a powerful conditioning agent. What you repeatedly fantasize about becomes necessary for arousal. If your erotic imagination centers around abuse, monstrous violence, and submission to non-human entities, your brain is reprogramming itself to crave just that. It's not empowerment, it's neuroplasticity at its darkest.
Oh my God.
Scientists, psychologists, and the general public often state that men are visual and women are emotional. When it comes to sex, men can be turned on instantly by a sexual image despite their mood, and women need to be turned on emotionally to get in the mood. So it stands to reason that porn for men is visual and porn for women is in the mind. I'm not equating porn to smut novels because one is a video of two people actually having real sex and the other is, well, just words on paper. I am, however, talking about the effect on the consumer. We know watching porn is bad for the brain. That's been proven and only rejected by Gooners who don't want to give it up. But is reading smut bad? You might say, duh, that's the whole point. Okay, fair enough. So let me rephrase, is reading smut harmful. Should we shame people for things that are wrong, immoral, or harmful? In my line of work, I've been told many times that shame has no place in sex. But if I use my brain for 2 seconds, it's clear that line of thinking is nonsense. Incest should be shamed, bestiality should be shamed, pedophilia should be shamed. I'm not equating monster smut with these things, but there are 50 shades of gray, so to speak, along the spectrum of harmful. Conditioning your brain and body to associate pleasure with monsters, slavery, or sexual violence is not healthy.
I don't understand how you can pick up a book. It's literally a cow. And you know what the theme is of the book, and you read it, and you think it's good, and you think it's spicy. And I just can't understand it. Like, his whole face is cow. His whole bottom, at least his lower part, like the legs from what I've heard, is hoofs. I don't understand how you can enjoy that, and how you can enjoy reading that.
They're cooked. Like, women are cooked. They are frying their brains with this stuff. It's a pipeline, right? It's like the infamous evil alt-right pipeline. You know, you start watching Shoe on Head, owning the feminists in 2015, and then in 2025, you're hailing Hitler, right? You know, the alt-right pipeline. And this one's like, you're reading Morning Glory Milking Farm, and the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Hands, right? Just say no. Just say no to monster porn. But why is monster smut so popular with women in particular? Like, you rarely see the opposite, and when you do, it's just like a girl with cat ears and fangs, or like a 10-foot tall dommy mommy vampire with giant titties. Meanwhile, women are like, I want to f the pollution monster from Fern Gully. So people on Reddit asked this very question. Let's see the responses. Why do you guys like monster romances?
Yeah,
asking for a friend. Several reasons. 1, human men are quite often terrible. Romance books with human men are already partly fantasy, but monsters just takes the fantasy bit further. 2, it's sort of human nature to imagine relationships with paranormal beings and creatures. We've been doing it in literature and art for centuries. It's just gotten a lot more graphic now, lol. 3, unique body forms / parts and so many different kinds of dicks. Scary, mean, terrifying creature is sweet to her, kind, takes care of her, protects her, works hard to be gentle, etc.
Scary, mean, terrifying creature, but is only sweet and kind to her. I think that's very important. Is mean and scary and terrifying to anyone else, but she is special. She is special. He's sweet, kind, and takes care of her, but no one else. In a lot of other stories, it's also like that, but I guess I actually don't know why you want it to be the monster one, Bo. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know why you want it to be the one with a literal monster that has nothing similar to a human.
Maximal escapism, minimal association to real-life assholes, the patriarchy, misogyny, and oppression of women, etc., etc. Because the monsters are less dangerous than dating actual men.
Oh, you know what? It might be what that person said, maximal escapism. Because I was thinking, actually, there are a lot of romance books where guys are like mean and scary towards other people except to the main girl, but maybe it's like you really want to run away from real life, so it's more fun for you to read about something that doesn't exist. I'm not sure though, but maybe that makes a bit more sense. And then together with like, oh, it's mean and scary to everyone else except for me.
As a fat woman of color, modern, contemporary, and even fantasy romances are hard to click to because they are almost always about thin white women and just too realistic, and romance in real life is not always
yeah, I guess
attainable for fat women/women of color. In monster alien romance, though, my size doesn't matter, and it's easier to get into that headspace and enjoy it.
So it's about the immersion. I guess a lot of these people also imagine themselves into the main character. And then I guess I can get it when it's too realistic, then it feels like, yeah, that would never happen to me though. And that you might not really like it or get immersed into it, I guess. Like for me personally, I don't have that. I hate immersing myself into a story, man. I hate it. Sometimes when I get like interested in something and I read like the back or like the description of what the story is about, and I see that main character has my name, I'm like, yeah, fuck this, I don't want this. That's gonna be so weird to read my own name as the lead character. I hate this.
I'm sick of the men on Earth and looking for some variety. Non-humans haven't betrayed and hurt me, so they feel like a safe haven, if that makes sense.
It's really escapism.
Plus the unusual dick. Monsters have big, fun-shaped cocks. I love some bizarre peen. Unique. Genitalia.
Okay, and some, okay. Some is escapism, some is unique peepees. Okay.
I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. A lot of women's smut, especially monster smut, is about submission, domination, forced breeding, non-consensual consent. The women are like conquered and taken and overpowered by these monsters. And I think many of these women are reading these books containing monsters and not men because masculinity and dominance in men has been completely demonized in modern society. But the truth is...
Yeah, a lot of them also say that they have been hurt by men. That is like a theme that I see coming back with these women that talk about why they read it.
Many women still crave it. You see, the monsters in these stories have those like dominant masculine traits that women like so much, but they're not...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I read stories as well where the guy is like mean and scary to everyone else except for the female lead, but they're not monsters. Okay, sometimes they're demons, but demons only have horns and wings, and most of the time in the story they hide it. I am different, I swear, I am different.
Human men. They have all these traits women desire without the problematic baggage human men bring, without being the men they hate or have been told to hate. It is the perfect guilt-free slop. But they don't just want a wild dominant man, they want to tame a wild dominant man. Similar to when a man sees an art hoe with a nose ring, you can save her from her daddy issues. You can do it. It definitely won't backfire and ruin your life. Go for it. Go talk to her. With many women, there's this desire for like danger and aggression, but also the desire to tame that danger and aggression. The desire to be
I can fix him!
That special woman who can melt his heart. You see, my dragon boyfriend could rip me to shreds and kill me instantly, but he won't because he's nice and he loves me.
Yes,
But honestly, at the end of the day, just like the video I made about the anime girl in a wheelchair where men were saying, this is the average male fantasy, and a bunch of women were like, you want to rape a disabled girl? When in reality, it was just a distilled manifestation of the average male fantasy, which is to protect and provide for a sweet woman and save her. This is like basically the flip of that, right?
I'm not gonna lie, I was like at the start, I mean, you can probably hear it, I was super confused about like, okay, but why? I get that you read this kind of stuff in the first place, like the genre that it's in, right? But I do not understand why you would read it about something that like completely does not look like a human. But after seeing those Reddit comments, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can kind of get it then, I guess. It's just escapism from real life.
This is just the distilled manifestation of the female fantasy. Men are seeing this and they're saying, what do you mean you want to milk a minotaur? When in reality, it's just to have a big, strong protector and provider swoop you up and save you. And like I said in that video, they're basically...
That part I understand because that's literally what I read as well. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I guess if I just forget about that, I can completely understand where they're coming from.
Both the same fantasy. This is a tale as old as time, the princess being saved from the dragon by a knight in shining armor, whether the dragon be a wheelchair or student loans, you know? But in this case, the woman is being f***ed by the dragon and the knight sits in the corner and watches or something. I don't know. Maybe it's not that deep. There are some hungers better starved than fed. And maybe as women, for the sake of society, we have to starve our hunger for...
But I'm not gonna lie though, girls, come on, there are better books than that. I only saw a couple of sentences that she read for us, but that was so bad! Come on!
There are some hungers better starved than fed. And maybe as women, for the sake of society, we have to starve our hunger for minotaur p***ness. Yeah, that's the...
Yeah.
That's the moral of this video.
I agree.
So what do you guys think? What is your theory? Why is the monster romance genre so popular with women in particular?
Okay, so it has to be like the one thing that I know for sure, because that's also the kind of stuff that I read. Scary guy, only nice to girl. That's one. That's why they read it. That's the girl fantasy. You're mean to everyone else except for me. Now for the monster part, it's probably like maximum escapism from real life, either because you got hurt or it just feels like that would never happen to you. And that's because those girls immerse themselves, I think. I think they insert themselves as the main character to get immersed and then it feels like off, I think.
And who is your weirdest hear me out?
I don't think any of my hear me outs are weird. They all make sense.
Be honest. I don't want to hear no Lola Bunny, okay? You all know mine already.
Oh.
It's not that he's a fish, okay? Has an energy, okay? He has a vibe.
Okay.
Never mind. And I will see you guys again really soon with a new video.
Bye! Hi! If you liked the video, please make sure that you like it and subscribe to my channel and turn on notification bell if you want to see more of it. I also go live on Twitch and on this YouTube channel, so come join us sometimes. Bye!